Why India has no good infrastructure. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss why India has no good infrastructure. Infrastructure in Indian cities is still lacking, and this is not due to a lack of resources. While urban Indians are said to be at the bottom of the global income distribution, this does not completely explain the country's weak infrastructure. In reality, these cities are wealthy enough to invest in infrastructure. Why don't we subscribe and ring the notification bell before we get started? That way, you'll never miss another one of our awesome videos. The weak infrastructure of Indian cities is due to a number of complex factors. For starters, many people still believe that India's soul is found in its villages. However, villages once housed 3/4 of the country's population. In addition, agriculture accounted for half of India's GDP. Economists, according to planners, have an urban bias. Much of India's urban planning aimed to decongest city centers. As a result, while urban planners attempted to develop rural areas in smaller cities, they failed to provide adequate infrastructure in densely populated areas. Despite the fact that several researchers have pointed out that every 1,000 rupees spent on infrastructure creates a value worth 10 of lakhs of rupees if achieved in the right place and manner, Indian planners place an unnecessary focus on spending as little as possible on infrastructure. Infrastructure construction is costly, particularly when done over long distances. Although doing so in the heart of the city is expensive, this infrastructure would be shared by a large number of people. People move from rural areas to urban areas to take advantage of the facilities and services available in urban areas. Even though most of India still lives in rural areas, investing in urban infrastructure is more ethical. Infrastructure developed in places like Delhi's Connaught Place or Mumbai's Nariman Point is in high demand. Since cities overwhelmingly attract disadvantaged citizens, the urban poor profit most from this. Few people would use the same facilities if it were installed in a remote village in Himachal Pradesh. Buildings in the heart of Indian cities, such as Delhi and Mumbai, are often dilapidated, and infrastructure is in poor condition. Authorities believe without justification that improving central city infrastructure is impossible. Tall buildings are not permitted in city centers because the infrastructure is not designed to accommodate high densities. For example, if Connaught Place's buildings were 50 stories tall, more people would be able to walk or drive through the streets. Allowing such tall buildings is risky if the road infrastructure is not built to handle such traffic. However, there is no reason to believe that infrastructure upgrades are unlikely. Cities all over the world have done so. Even though Mumbai and Delhi are denser in the middle, tall buildings have not made major cities more crowded. It would have been simple for city governments to finance infrastructure by levying fees on real estate developers who build tall buildings. By constructing houses and bathrooms, the government has also attempted to better the lives of the urban poor. People who live in slums and informal settlements, on the other hand, normally have more pressing needs. They need more work opportunities as well as improved infrastructure. Measures to build houses for the poor neglect their deeper needs, because it is easier for government contractors to build houses in the suburbs or periphery. The Indian government is entering the city through housing and the toilet, rather than through the place of work and the economy. According to American academic World Michael Cohen, developers find it difficult to purchase vast tracts of land or transform agricultural land to industrial or residential use due to government regulations. For a long time, the government imposed a 500 square meter cap on the amount of land that private citizens might own in urban areas. Private companies find it difficult to develop infrastructure by merging smaller plots of land due to certain regulations. DLF's assets, for example, are largely connected by the rapid metro in Gurgaon. Despite the fact that DLF later pulled out of the contract, this is India's first privately funded metro. We would have seen more privately financed infrastructure if such restrictions were not so strict. Furthermore, mayors in Indian cities has less power. This is not the case in major global cities such as New York or Paris, which have greater autonomy. But we don't forget that India has democracy but other countries not. Also, countries with relatively decent infrastructure and active public housing schemes, such as Hong Kong or Singapore, are essentially cities. Mayors in Indian cities are reluctant to change their cities due to a lack of control. So, that's all for today's show. I will get back to you with another video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that whenever I will back with another video, you will be notified. Thanks for watching.